This is Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. Brought to you by Leading Lights, LLC. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. I'm Cecil Kenney.
And I'm Raphael Babchuck. Today, we'll talk about the draw versus San Jose and the look ahead to both the U.S. Open Cup match versus Chicago and another away game versus SKC. Big thanks to our sponsor, Leading Lights LLC, for making this possible, who we'll talk about more later. For now, let's talk about the robbery in the draw versus San Jose.
And let's get right into it. Alright, so it was a 0-0 draw against San Jose.
Let's just get to the elephant in the room.
Yeah, gotta go goal. Let's talk about
that. So I was obviously at the game.
Yeah, I was not.
He scored. I was obviously happy because Gonna go and score a goal, right? He scored, I saw him put his, and I saw the official.
Yes.
There we go. Put his flag up, and I was like, hold up, that was really close. They showed it on the replay, and it was clearly in the stadium. Clearly showed that Gonna was onside. So it was really loud, a bunch of boos for like 30, 45 seconds. And then the next day in the morning, I went to see the highlights for the game to see what the announcers on Apple TV Plus thought about it. And you know what? They're like, ooh, that's a close one. They're like, oh, it's tough to see by that angle, but I think that's a goal. So even the announcers on the broadcast said the same thing. So the fact that it wasn't even reviewed was...
Yeah, they didn't
even review it. That was such a controversy, such a scam, and I feel like we got scammed out of win, even though San Jose was playing better than us.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So it's the same lineup as last match, and we didn't play well. We'll talk about that. San Jose outplayed us. They played midweek against Inter Miami.
It was what, 3-3?
And it was like it was a high scoring game, like 3-3. I think you're right. And it was like we did not perform well. It was practically their B team out there. They had at least one guy who was just debuting for the first time, and it really did not look good for the Revs. Per Fault Mob, they have Nick Lima getting man of the match.
Yeah, Nick Lima, former Rev.
And Mark Anthony K.
I was from the stands, I was like...
And he was the most accurate passer at 89%.
Yeah, I said Mark Anthony K, like, you suck during a game because I don't like Mark Anthony K. I don't think you like Mark Anthony K either.
Yeah, I don't like Mark
But
Anthony
he played
K.
well. I just want to say that out.
Yeah, he did play well.
Bruce Arena knew the Revs.
But yeah, and they were playing with their backup keeper the entire second half. And
right, he got subbed out. We can talk about the injury, the same injury.
Yeah.
To the goalie and Campana. Both of them ended up getting subbed out.
The Campana one, that was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
To see him go that early again. Right. Hopefully it's not that serious. If this continues to be a problem, I'm going to get very upset.
Yeah, we can't have an injury prone as our only striker. We cannot have a Rudy.
Yeah, I don't want him
back
starting
in the lineup.
And so we brought in Luis Diaz there. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, San Jose, they played, they're like they started a bunch of guys, obviously, but it's like they didn't play the starters.
They didn't play the starters.
It's really...
They started a bunch of guys.
It's really...
They didn't play the starters. But yeah, he's right. I mean, it was kind of not their B team, but it was a bunch of, I don't want to say jamokes, but...
What?
A couple people who weren't, their starters. So, and the fact that you know what, they were better than us the entire game. It was a really boring game, I'd have to say, for all the games to miss. That would be the one. But I feel
which is really surprising, because that was the game I was upset about not being able to go to that game. Like,
yeah, but I mean that goal that Ganago scored should have been a goal.
It should have been a goal. But they outplayed us.
They did outplay us. And that's the important thing. I think Bruce Arena knew how to silence Carlos Hill. Knew how to do all these things because he knew them. He was a former coach.
Yeah, and so
he used it to the...
Sure, it's like a completely different system, but it's the same players.
Yeah. I didn't see much...
I feel like they didn't stand out all that much. The Revs players just didn't play all that well.
I felt like we didn't have chances, but I feel like we were a little more clinical in our passes.
We didn't really have chances,
yeah,
though.
But in the ones that we did, we should have been more clinical.
And we only had .28. We'll jump right into the stats here.
Yeah.
.28 expected goals compared to their 1.56. That just doesn't look good. They had 12 shots to our 8, and we both had 1 shot on target. That's just an incredibly boring game.
Yeah, that is. They hit the crossbar in one of that.
For San Jose to come off a 3-3 win, or 3-3 draw.
We came off a 3-3 draw.
We came off a 3-3 draw. They came off what I would call a 3-3 win because it was against Inter Miami.
Even though they've been poor, but we don't.
Even though they've been poor, still a 3-3 win. Yeah. In my eyes, like, hey, you got out with a result against Miami.
Which, by the way, we tried Orlando 3-3. Orlando just beat Miami 3-0. So,
that's pretty cool.
If that says something, do we beat Miami 3-0 too? I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, we were offside 7 times during the game.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Guys. That's
We did have 5 corners while they had 3. But
Yeah.
still, we have to be more productive.
we have to
Carlos
do
Hill,
we had like Eli Fiengold take a corner.
Yeah.
And it was like Cappy, and we like squandered that completely. It was like we went close, but they like closed it down immediately, and it was their ball
100%.
within a second. It was
Carlos Hill had this chance in the second half where he was kind of open, and I'm ready for him to like hit the ball, and like here we go, this is goal, and it was kind of right towards the keeper. I'm like, dude, come on, you're a star player. I want to see a little bit better. And our free kick, we almost scored. We were right there. I think that was either Fofana or Ceballos, who were right there by the net. Who was close. So it's not like we had a couple chances, and I feel like of those chances, if we were more clinical, we would have won this game.
Yeah, we need to be clinical.
Teams don't have to always be the better team to win the game. And this could have been
that was
a scenario
proven
for
when
us.
we beat Charlotte 1-0.
Yeah.
We were clearly not the better team. We beat them on their down day.
Yeah.
And it proves that the worst team can win at points. We just didn't. Still, somehow Tanner Beeson is undefeated. Well, as
so it keeps our undefeated record to 7 games, I think now. Undefeated.
I just realized that.
Yeah,
that's insane.
But still, I think
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, you know how some draws feel like wins and some draws feel like losses.
This one
feels
like
like a loss. Yeah.
And like the Orlando one, getting out of there with a win or getting out of there with a draw felt
good.
It was unfortunate that we let up 3 goals and that was all just not good. But like
it felt okay.
It didn't feel bad.
You know, it was so bad that when I was walking out of the stadium, I saw some guy throwing up, and I think it was because of the performance. I don't know.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah.
Yeah.
Only 8 shots from the Revs and 1 on target. That is pathetic. And I know we had trouble at the beginning of the season with this, but I thought we were past that.
Exactly.
And
2 straight draws.
Yeah, I don't really like this. I think we're sitting 11th in the East, if I'm not mistaken.
I felt like that was an important game because we wanted to. Obviously, we have like a game in hand, I think, or maybe 2, and I feel like that could have been a game that we really could have, stepped up our game. But yeah, I mean, wasn't our day, I guess. I want to see better. I know Caleb Porter. I saw him a little bit animated on the sideline after that. After the goal that was disallowed. But I felt, I don't know, with the subs, which we're going to talk about in a minute,
yeah,
he could have done a little better.
Let's actually talk about the subs right now, real quick. So we used 4 subs. I wouldn't say, I think they were decent. They weren't great. Obviously, Langoni is still injured, and Sands was also injured with an ankle injury. So it just didn't... Yeah. It didn't look great. We obviously subbed in Chunkalai, but that was late. He didn't get a big run.
He got like a cross or 2 in.
He played not long. He only had 5 touches.
I felt like at least Arudi wasn't subbed in, I guess.
Arudi was subbed in. He was subbed in.
No, I meant for Campana.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind that. I kind of liked Luis Diaz coming in there.
Yeah. I felt Luis Diaz, but I feel like he could have, that was his chance.
That was his chance
to play a good
really
chunk of minutes. And not chunk, but a chunk of minutes. And he really could have done something. And I feel like
he played. He's my highlight sub. I don't think any of the other subs really did anything important. I think he you're reaching for the food over there.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah, he's the only person that I think even made an impact on the game. Even though he came in early, he had a lot longer than many of the other players had.
Yeah, so
he played decent, but that was his chance to really hey.
Decent? Decent. That's
decent. This was his chance to really make that impact and become an every game sub.
So defensively, I do want to talk about something. So defensively, do you because I feel like in our last game versus Orlando, we agreed that was our worst defensive game of the season. How do you think, defensively, I know we didn't let up a goal, but I felt like we still could have done better defensively when it comes to our 3 in the back. I felt like on the wings, we were kind of taken advantage of a little bit.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way. The team just didn't have a great game.
Yeah, 100%.
Just
stuff like that happens. It's just we
have
don't want it.
We have to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
Our predictions didn't do too well. We both had 2-0. Me and you, I had Cappy and Ganago. You had Campana and Cappy. I had the Ganago goal correct because that was a goal.
Yeah, that was a goal.
The
fact that wasn't checked
is actually infuriating.
So what do you think was a bigger robbery? This one, or I think it was the first home game of the season.
I think this one's a bigger
when
robbery.
When they didn't call a penalty. When it was a hand.
Against,
I think it was
Columbus.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a hand early on.
Yeah, so we got a Columbus fan over here, but
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyways, I think this game was
this one.
Because at the start of the season, I don't think it would have done much anyway.
No, because that would have still been what, a 2-1 loss.
No, I think it would have been a draw. I think that's what it was. I think we were down 2. Oh wait, no, I think. But what I do want to say is that that was a goal, and that we have to we have to rebound from that. And, just one bad decision from a ref can't make us...
Oh, yeah, it was only a 1-0 win. So I guess it would have been a 1-1 draw, but this one would have had a 1-0 win. So I guess...
Would have mattered more.
This would have mattered more. I say this is the bigger robbery.
Yeah.
Man of the match.
Yeah.
I got Yusuf.
You got Yusuf? I think I said Carlos Hill or Campana.
Campana?
Yeah, I think that's what I said for the game. Last game. Obviously, for this game... Oh, you said Yusuf. We're not talking about last game, are we?
No.
All right, we talked about this game. You said Yusuf. Go.
So I think it was Yusuf. I think he played well. He was one of the better players on the Revs. For a while, he was man of the match on FOMO before they decided to be a fan of San Jose and give it to Nick Lima. He had the most tackles in the match at 3. He was pretty accurate for passing. I just felt like he played well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go first up, disappointment of the match, and kind of the past few games, Peyton Miller.
Yeah.
At the start, when he first got his start, I'm like, man, this kid is it. Like, he's older than me. I know I called him kid. But, I mean, he's really good, and I was like, man, he's going to be really great. And the past few games, he's kind of just, his level has dropped down, and I want his form to come back up because he's such a great player, and I want him to, continue at the form that he was at the start of when he started playing. But my man of the match is going to be Ganago. Because even if that goal didn't count, I felt like he was much more in the game. I saw him on the field, like, talking to the team. So, I mean, I want to see that more from him in a leadership role.
I like that. You got anything else to add?
Obviously no donuts. We got to do better.
Well, the team got donuts.
Yeah, the team did get donuts. I wouldn't like... I don't think that's a camp donut.
I don't think that's a time when you give donuts.
Yeah, I agree.
You just drew a game 0-0, and it was just really poor showing. That's not when you give donuts. It's 100%. When you win the game.
Yeah.
And sure, the goalkeeper kept a clean sheet. That's not really...
Hit the crossbar. It was like 2 inches down from being...
I'm not too happy with that.
Our performance. But yeah. We'll cut to our leading lights ad.
But yeah, with that being said, we'll cut to the leading lights.
Yeah.
Unlock the power of your platform data with Leading Lights, experts in transforming raw numbers into compelling benchmarks. Leading Lights helps a variety of companies turn insights into engaging stories that drive growth. Elevate your brand with data-driven content that captivates your audience and sets you apart from the competition with Leading Lights. Visit their website at leadinglights.io to see how you can transform your platform data. Hello and welcome back to Foxboro Sports, everyone. I'm Cecil Kenney.
And I'm Raphael Babchuck.
And we're going to try and figure out how to pronounce his name. Continuing on, let's talk about the U.S. Open Cup match against Chicago Fire this coming week. Yeah, actually, I'm recording this on Monday, so this will come out the morning of. I still want to cover it, though.
Yeah.
So, they're currently 5-4-4 in MLS play, sitting 9th in the East, and they just beat Detroit City 4-0 in the Cup. It's a solid team, coached by Greg Berhalter. They've got some good players. They've got some not so good players.
Greg Berhalter, former U.S. manager. Did great in the World Cup.
That was phenomenal, guys. Yeah. Anyways, let's look at some players to watch. I'm gonna try and
we're gonna pronounce his name. We got a few interesting names here today. All right, so we got a few guys to note. Zinkernagel. We got Brady, and we got Gutierrez.
That was the least hard name of that.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. No, Brady's pretty easy.
It's probably accurate. Yeah. Anyways, that was still simpler than Zinkernagel. And yet you still messed it up. Nice one.
I did. All right.
Anyways, I'm going to talk about Jonathan Bamba. He's one of my favorite MLS players. What?
Yeah.
He came over from Celta Vigo. He's been really good this year. I really like him as a player. What's his stats in MLS play? I know he's doing well.
Yeah, he's been really well. I just want to talk about Chicago as a team this season. I feel like they've been better than last season. Still not a move up as what I thought, having the U.S. manager coach come into your team. But, they're still a good team. And
yeah, they've been better
a team
than
not
they
to
were.
underestimate. Do you think You want to talk about your player first?
Yeah,
and then we'll go.
2 goals, 4 assists in the league. He's been good this season, and
Pretty sure he played at Lille earlier.
Yeah, he played 200 matches at Lille before going over to Celta Vigo. He was at Saint Etienne in Angers and Saint Trudon and Paris FC. He's an Ivory Coast international. He played on the French youth teams. So very good player. He's 29. I really wish he was younger because he's such a good player. Chicago is undefeated in their last 4, and so he's my player to watch. Who you got?
My player to watch is definitely Hugo Kuipers. There we go. You got it. He's a super good forward.
Super. Yo, my spelling was not the greatest. I apologize.
No, he's a super great forward. When we talk about dangerous forward, Hugo Kuipers comes to mind. When it comes to him, either dashing on the wing or coming through the middle. I mean, he's really good. He has 8 goals and 1 assist this season. I mean, when you talk about your best player, that's your best player right there. He's something to fear as striker. So we've talked about players. Now I do want to talk about who do you think? Do we think we start our starters? Do you think we go for more of a bench?
No,
team?
we're gonna go for like the Revs 2 guys.
Do you think they go for more of their?
No.
So you think we? Do you think we'll go to predictions later? But.
I don't know why I chose Jonathan Mamba for this. I don't know why I picked Kuipers. I don't think they're gonna play. If we check the Detroit City matchup, actually, they did play Bamba and Kuipers and Hail Celeste. I think he's injured right now. I didn't see him. Did he start last match? No, he came off the bench. He's another guy.
He'll probably be back though. So
I really like if he popped up, but I didn't see.
Yeah.
Came off the bench. Rami Kume. Really big fan of him. But they've got a really good team. And so
not to underestimate.
I'm kind of surprised that they did play those guys against a USL team. And so I'm actually not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they started those guys again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I expect to see our Revs 2 guys.
Yeah. So you want to go into predictions for this one?
I don't have any predictions. I think.
You think? Let's go winner.
I think we if we play our Revs 2 guys like I expect, and they play the guys that they played last match, we lose 2-0.
2-0? I think 3-0.
I think it's 2-0, 3-0, somewhere around there. I didn't want to sound like too harsh.
Yeah.
But
I
want to have faith in Bono.
Yeah. But I don't even see us. I don't feel a need to start our starters.
No.
I think we focus on making the playoffs, and having a cup just to probably lose, like in the semifinals.
It'd be really nice to get them more game time.
Yeah.
With the senior team, but I don't think we win this one if they play that and we play our Revs 2 guys. So I think
100%.
we lose 3-0. I'm not gonna really point out their scores. It's a 2-3-0 loss. It would be unfortunate, but hey, we got our young players some time, and we'll move on to that Sporting Kansas City match.
Yeah.
So they're currently not as good. 3-3-8 this year in MLS. They played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup early on, but they were beaten by Inter Miami handily early on. Including CONCACAF Champions Cup, they started 8 games winless, and only 1 point from those 8. They won a 3-game, they won one, they lost one. They won one, they lost one. They won one, they lost one. They did that on a 3-game streak, like I just said. And then they drew their last 2. And they did not play midweek because they played in the Champions Cup, and they made the decision not to play in the Open Cup. I think they might be in Leagues Cup. I haven't checked that yet though. But they just have not been good this year.
Yeah.
And
so we're looking. Obviously, we're away. So
we are away. Another away game, which is really unfortunate.
We have all our home games one stretch.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for that again.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna talk about my player first.
Yeah.
This is the one we were talking about after we started the recording to see if we can say this guy's name. Ready? Magomed Shapi Suleimanov.
There we go.
All right. He is my player to watch with 1 goal and 3 assists in 14 matches. He is 25 years old, 5'7", Russian. He's a great player to watch. He plays on the wing. He used to play for Hapoel Beersheva, which is one of my favorite teams. They're based in they're one of my favorite teams. So he's someone definitely to watch. We want to watch out for him. Obviously, he plays on the right side. So it depends who plays on that left-hand side. I don't think it's going to be Peyton Miller. Maybe Will Sands. We'll have to see. But he's going to be someone we have to stop.
Maybe even Demario McIntosh.
Yeah, maybe even
That'd be cool.
But yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, he's a dangerous player. He's only 25. I have Manu Garcia. He's a guy I want to point out. He's only 27. 1 goal and 2 assists. He came over as well with say his name again. Did you practice this?
Oh yeah, I definitely practiced this. Magomed Shapi Suleimanov.
Yeah, Garcia came over with him from Aris watch me here. Aris Thessaloniki FC.
Let me do this. RS Thessaloniki FC.
There we go. It's a Greek team. I'm not Greek, as you can probably tell.
Really?
All right. But
yeah.
They both came over. I think there might be a partnership between SKC and that team. Manu Garcia has played for some of the biggest clubs in Europe, including Manchester City, where he was.
Oh, I thought we're talking about the biggest clubs in Europe.
Liverpool fans?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Right.
Anyways, he was on their youth teams. He played 4 matches, got 1 goal for them before going out on loan to Deportivo Aves. Only played 1 goal there. Then went to NAC Breda for 2 years, it looks. 58 games, 3 goals. He played in France for Toulouse. He went on loan. He was permanently sold to Sporting Gijón before going on loan again to Deportivo Aves before going to insert Greek team here. He has also played for the Spanish national team. So he was this hot prospect when he was younger. Mm-hmm. He was on their youth teams a bunch, and he played 1 game for the senior national team. So he's a player who was very highly touted. His career kind of tapered off towards now. But hey, he's doing well in MLS.
Yeah, 100%.
And
this season, obviously, 1 goal, 2 assists. So.
And so he's my player to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what do you think? What are we thinking for predicting? You did so first.
Predictions. Let's see. Oh, I gotta get ready for this because I need some donuts. Let's see. Predictions. We're away in Kansas City. New England Revolution, coming off 2 straight draws, are going to draw 0-0.
We did have the Open Cup though.
Yeah.
So we might be able to. I think we go back to the donut roots. I want the donuts.
Yeah.
Let's think. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. Yeah.
2-0 win. So we got positive over here. Positive
Actually,
Peter.
No, we're going to go 2-1. We're going to go 2-1.
Still positive Peter. I'm negative Nancy over here. I want to speak about my prediction. I think that we obviously drew the last 2 games. We're playing in the Open Cup. I think we're going to be kind of exhausted. We've obviously done a lot of traveling, and I think that this is kind of a hiccup in form. And I think, again, we're going to have trouble finding scoring, especially with Campana. We don't know if he's going to be in or not. So, obviously, hope speedy recovery for him. But I just don't see us scoring, and I don't see them scoring. So, adding those 2 together, I see no scoring, and I see 0-0 draw.
Yeah, so I think we see a 2-1. So no donuts for the team, but we'll get donuts because I'm going to have my prediction be correct.
So who's going to score?
I'm going to have Ganago score, in no particular order, by the way.
Okay.
Ganago's going to score, and Cecil's going to score.
All right.
And then Magomed Shapi Suleimanov is also going to score, assisted by Garcia.
Okay.
So it's a combination of the 2 players we want to watch for.
Plus, obviously, Cappy.
And then
number 1, and Ganago, who should have scored last game.
Yeah.
So, that's a prediction for you. Obviously, I want you guys to put your predictions in the comments.
Let's do that.
Or on X or anything. Let us know your predictions. You get your prediction right, we'll shout you out on the podcast. So, or if you literally ask us any questions, we'll also shout you out on the podcast.
Yeah.
So,
I think.
Yeah, we gotta cut this one a little short today, but
I gotta go work a tryout.
Yeah.
For the youth team that I coach, and so it's gonna be a tough week for the Revs.
Yeah,
we have 2 games, but hey, hopefully we can bounce back in form. Unlike what you're saying with the 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll.
I think of all games to stop this kind of drought in form, I think it would be this one. I just don't think it will be.
Yeah.
But I think it would be better for us if it would.
I think we hiccup midweek and we lose to Chicago, but then I think we pull off the win against SKC.
Yeah.
And so with that, thank you all for listening.
Yeah. Again, sorry for the late upload.
Sorry about that.
We had to do a little rescheduling, but obviously you're hearing us now, so
thank you all for listening. I'm Cecil Kenney.
I'm Raphael Babchuck.
And if you haven't already, please follow us on X at Any Podcasting Net. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're following. Same deal with Spotify. Like we said, comment or DM.
With any questions, anything, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, thanks to Leading Lights LLC once more. And next episode, I think we should be good for Monday again.
Yeah, we should be good. If not, we'll obviously let you know on it.
And this was
Foxboro's Fortress.